Hey, Metagross Freak here with from Transformers Revenge of the Fallen Deluxe Class Soundwave. I have wanted this figure since, 2008. I finally got my hands on one for Christmas this year, so thank you, Dad. I'll show the back of the package in a moment, but his bio reads, "Stationed in orbit around Earth, Soundwave swiftly taps into every satellite in range. Within minutes, communications, data traffic, weather information, and high-resolution spy photography flood his sensor net. The spill of data fills him with pleasure, and one by one the human systems come under his complete control. From his seat on high, he is in a position to control the destiny of mankind without their knowledge, or run their civilization into the ground." For those of you who are unaware, this is my, seventh official Soundwave figure. I have a few other smaller Soundwaves, like some Legends classes, and actually, I believe they're, I guess it'd be Legion class now, and some Tiny Titans and stuff, but I never was able to get my hands on an official Deluxe class for Soundwave from the movie series, at least at the time. But this version of Soundwave is technically a triple changer. He turns into a satellite and a, as you can see up here, space cruiser, though really it's more of a satellite that can be repositioned to resemble a plane. He also has a little missile shaped like Ravage, which is kind of cool. You can see up at the top there he has high intelligence, high fire blast, and high skill. Here is Soundwave in robot mode. Honestly, he's a very fiddly figure. He has a lot of little parts that can all move and fiddle around. Like he has these wing pieces that can, that are on a little joint here, they're on a joint here, it's on a joint here. And so you can, if you want, you can position them back like a little backpack. You can have them, be kind of like coattails. You can have them going, out like wings. He has a lot of like little joints like that that make him a very fiddly figure. And as someone who kind of likes to fiddle, that's good. When mine came out of the package, one of the legs actually popped out of its socket. Not from force, but just because I guess it was loose. Mine has an issue balancing on his legs, though. The hips, as you can see, do splay back. You can, however, roll them forward, and I think that's a little bit more stable, though you will have to angle the legs accordingly. One issue I do have is that he has toe articulation, which doesn't seem like it should be a complaint, but all three of his toes are on, actually, well, the two toes he has in the front are on hinges, individual hinges, which means if one of the toes isn't, if they're not balanced properly, he can't balance properly. The only accessory he comes with is the Ravage missile, which kind of looks a little bit like a one of those alien, the xenomorph, inner mouth tongue things. It doesn't really look a lot like the Ravage figure that also came out with Revenge of the Fallen, but I mean it does look, it looks decent. It looks alien enough, and that can just connect into his back right there, and it can fire out in either the satellite or ship mode. You can definitely tell he has a lot of sound wavy elements. He's got like these little speakers. He's got the navy blue. He's got some hints of red, around the wrists and the knees and stuff like that. So he does have many Soundwave inspired things. One interesting thing is that he actually does have two heads. He has his robot mode head, and he also has another head, which is basically his head covered in protective armor when he's in his satellite mode. So it is kind of funny. And of course he has like these panels, like I said before, these little fiddly panels that, like, these are on ball joints. And the ball joint is on another hinge, so you can get a lot of different poses and everything with this figure. They can be hard to track down, and believe it or not, this figure cost $50 because, nostalgia, and it's not made anymore. So if you want this figure, be prepared to pay, not the normal like 15, 17-ish dollars for it. You're gonna have to pay a little more than normal. So obviously, I have to compare him with other Soundwaves. I'm not going to get my Titan's Return Leader Soundwave or my Transformer Cybertron Voyager Soundwave. However, I do have here Generations, or for Cybertron, Deluxe Class Soundwave. You can see there, this one's actually a little bit taller, and definitely more sound wavy. We have Transformers Animated Deluxe Soundwave with his guitar. Looks good. Obviously, this is my only Soundwave, of course, that also has Ravage instead of Laserbeak. And we also have Robots in Disguise from 2017, Warrior Soundwave, as well as 2017 Activator Soundwave. So you can definitely see color scheme-wise, he is a lot more gray, but he definitely has those Soundwave elements. And then just for something a little more contemporary, for those of you who are collectors of more Generations figures, here he is with Power of the Prime Swoop, just because they're both kind of black and gray and blue and red. They have very similar color schemes, and he's also a deluxe class. And then, just for fun, here he is with the Revenge of the Fallen Legends class Soundwave, who is a lot tinier and really adorable. Okay, according to the official instructions, this is the satellite mode. Honestly, this looks more like a ship to me, but apparently this is the satellite mode. It kind of looks more like a ship to me. Of course, here we have Soundwave's armored head, now front and center. His robot mode head is slightly hidden by a little tiny flap. They refer to it in instructions as the satellite mode. And then, in order to transform it into vehicle mode, it has you basically just angle these panels kind of out and kind of out like that. I'm honestly not too impressed with either mode, but I guess it's better than nothing. Now it has you angle the panels out like that, and it has you angle these little like mini wings down like such, and it says that is the vehicle mode. Though to me this looks more like a satellite. However, I think for, I guess you could say, a fan mode, or at least my version of a fan mode, would be to take the top panels, the ones that become the shoulder pads, and rotate them out like such. I think that this is a far better satellite. You can also rotate these down so that they're not hiding his cool spikes. There we go. I think that makes a good satellite mode as well. Though I do like the silver paint they added to give it a solar panel detail. I kind of like that. And I honestly like this. This looks pretty good, especially as like a re-entry mode. I know I've been showing a bunch of like different positions for these panels. Now for the gimmick, as you see, the Ravage missile plugs in between the two heads on the back, and there's this little tiny lever right there next to the false head that you can just press, and let me get a good angle for this. Let's see here, and you can see the missile shot out and hit the back of my desk. So sorry about the loud noise there. Considering this is like a 9 or 10-year-old mold, I'm actually really surprised that the spring still works. I mean, it's not even a lightweight missile. It actually fires maybe a good, probably about 2 feet before it just plops on the floor. So not at all bad. Not at all bad for a spring on a gimmick of an old toy. So unfortunately, I don't think comparing him to other Soundwaves would really work, since most Soundwaves tend to have either some kind of a van or automobile mode, or they turn into things that, like for example with the Cybertron Soundwave, the His Stealth Bomber is a lot bigger, so I think it'd be more appropriate to compare him to other deluxe classes. Luckily, I do have some I can compare him to. So, for example, here is Soundwave next to Robots in Disguise, Warrior Class Starscream. You can see he definitely is a lot bigger size-wise, but remember that, you know, this and this and this are all panels that can fold up. So if I just rotate this around, instantly he becomes a lot more Starscream size. Also, remember that Starscream actually has an actual like jet mode as opposed to Soundwave, who's basically in a Cybertronian mode. And I mean, the vehicle, his vehicle mode, his ult mode, is arguably the weakest part of the figure. I have Windblade. You can see, you know, she's roughly about the same size as the core of Soundwave. I also have Transformer Cybertron Sideways. You can see, again, fairly comparable in size. And then, just for fun, from the 2007 movie, a Skyblast repaint, Scout Class Air Raid, who, despite being a Scout class, is actually more comparable to a Deluxe in size. I'd say overall, the vehicle modes are very fiddly. Again, there's a lot of different panels you can adjust and angle how you'd like. You know, honestly, if you want, you can just have, you know, this. Actually, this doesn't look too bad either. Having this as the ult mode. If you want, you can hang him like that. You can angle, you know, you can angle obviously these two panels, this panel, and these two panels basically however you want, because they're all on, at minimum, one joint, and pretty much they all end in ball joints. So you can do a lot of different things with this alt mode to customize it how you want to present your Soundwave. And so this has been Transformers Revenge of the Fallen Deluxe Class Soundwave. I'll admit that it is not the best Soundwave figure, but it is a very welcome addition to my Soundwave collection. And so I'm glad to add him to the menagerie. Until next time, I have been Metagross Freak. Thank you all for watching, and have a happy holiday season. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Bye. Have a good one.